in particular that's best to stay?
The Marcus Whitman Hotel downtown is really nice. They've got a nice terrace restaurant. Good place to go for lunch, but unless you're dining at one of the wineries. But I think that Woodmark, I think that's the name of it, winery is really nice. We're going to be going there for dinner tomorrow. But there's this Brasserie 4 that's a really nice French restaurant in town. That's lovely. Unfortunately, it doesn't open until 4 o'clock on Tuesday. So we won't be going there for dinner tonight. So rats.
Yeah,
And we leave on Wednesday. But yeah, it's a quaint place. I like it a lot.
Are you going to go to any breweries as well, or just the wineries?
You know, if there's a place that does cider, hard cider, I think we might go there, Earl.
If you come across a place called Burwood, that's owned by my childhood friend. Her name is Jennifer Marshall. So, yeah. So if you come across it, she's a really fun lady and really nice. I haven't seen her in a long time, but she and I grew up together. So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Mm-hmm. And then Sally, how are you?
I am great. I was telling Linda in preparation for this that I haven't done anything on the signal boxes other than getting them remeasured by the print shop. So I've been neglectful on that just because I've been so busy with the farmers market.
And that's important because I mean that the farmers market's a very community building activity, and I can't tell you how many positive reviews it's gotten just from me just walking around the last 2 times that I've attended the event. I mean, it's great to see everybody just beaming, from ear to ear, and it's great to hear great, the great feedback from all of the vendors about how many customers there are and how much activity there are and traffic, and they just love the new space. So kudos to you all the way around for that one.
Oh, thank you. And I've never given it my full attention because I always had all these other events, and the revenue grew from opening day last year at Fort Silicon Park, it was huge, and the vendors made $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
They made $45,000.
Wow.
And then the second market, they made $47,000. So it's doubled from last year, which had quadrupled from the year before. But it's the only year ever where I've just been able to focus on it. That said, I didn't focus on the signal box reps because I need like this concentrated period of time because it's all new to me. And so I'll report on it, but I'm not as far as long as I should be.
No worries. So it's 5:01. You want to give it maybe another minute longer, Sally?
So Lonnie's going to be late and Daryl can't make it.
Okay.
Hear back from anybody else.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we should dive in, and I think this is going to be a quick meeting.
Right.
Hi, Ariani, thank you for being on the call.
Okay. Hi,
Hey, everybody.
Good to see you. Angel, good to see you as well. And anyone? Oh, Susan, hi.
Susan.
This afternoon. Good to have you.
Hello.
Hey, excellent. Okay.
Now, Adriana, are you doing the farmers market as well this year? I didn't see you, I don't think.
I am not. I am expecting this little one at any time. So
oh, that's a good point. I forgot all about that.
Yeah. So while I'm really sad I won't be, I have other things happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Things, yeah.
Well, and I feel bad because I've been getting messages on my Instagram from ladies. They'll be at the market. Are you here this year? Are you here this year? And I'm like, I'm not. So
in spirit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hi, Paige.
Be sure and email us when you have the baby.
I will.
So we want all the
guys. I met the I'm coming to you live from Cheney Stadium where I'm supporting my little greeter over here. So
Oh,
that's where I
great.
am.
Well, you're just in time for us to get started. As Sally indicated, this will be a relatively short meeting today. We have very few reports. So we'll begin with the minutes from the last meeting. Having reviewed the minutes and anticipating no additions or corrections, could I get a motion to approve?
approve.
Could I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No nays? Okay, motion passes. We do not have a public art committee report this evening. As far as the public art at Colonial Plaza, Sally, you might want to partner with Earl and give us the update as to what to expect near the end of this month.
Okay. Earl, do you want me to dive in or do you want to go for it?
Sure, because they're all going to be presenting their proposals at the end of this month, correct?
Correct.
And I know that I talked to Sue at the Historical Society, and she was incredibly grateful that all of them came at the same time, and they were able to take a little bit of the tour of the Lakewood Historical Society Museum, and she was very happy about that. Every single one of them even bought one of the little Lakewood books. So hopefully a lot of these artists will be able to read one of those Lakewood books to kind of get a little bit more of a background into the history of our community. So she was incredibly grateful over that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and just as you know, Earl's talking about the top 3 finalists for the Colonial. So we've narrowed it down to 3. And they are getting paid now $1,500 each to present 2 designs. There's a host of things that must be included. And then they are all getting an hour to present. So just a big reminder to the Public Art Committee, you're booked the 28th, 29th, and 30th of this month from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, at which time you'll get to see the 2 design concepts. From there, the following meeting, which with July 4th is, let's see, July.
Hey, Daryl.
I'm sorry, July 6th. Tuesday is our next meeting, July 6th, right after the 4th holiday. And at that time, the Public Art Committee will present those 3 designs and we'll choose one to recommend to City Council. And they meet very shortly thereafter. And that's why we're meeting Tuesday instead of the Monday, the 12th, because we have a very quick turnaround.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am too.
Okay.
Come up with.
Well, that's
The
interesting to see.
Yeah, and the Public Art Committee's put in a lot of time on this, and the 3 hours, well, the 28th, 29th, and 30th is kind of the big grand finale. And the last piece on that is the easement. So, we do need an easement from property owners, probably for the vast majority of the art that would go there. So they finally actually got back to me and said the owners are open to considering that for sure. And they just asked for more information. So they'll just need to see the final design and see where it's going. We'll have to update the easement. And but it sounded promising.
Well, that's great. Oh, and since we started, welcome to Daryl and Laura. No, we're happy to have you, as well as Sylvie. So thank you all for joining as well. We don't, okay, I think we'll skip the utility box wraps and move to the mural and then come back to the utility box wraps, okay? So Sally, you have an update on that, on the mural?
Yeah, so the mural concept began with the MLK ceremony and the idea of doing a mural with students that reflected the diversity of the community. And LMCC kind of ran with that. And Grant Twyman, who's on their board, and also their director of equity and inclusion at Clover Park High School or school district, ran with that. And it's done. The students made the mural. It's mobile. And I know that they are having some type of a revealing, and you might know more, Adriana, at the school because the students wanted to highlight it. As a sponsor, we haven't been notified of that or invited to that, so I don't know if that's happened or not. But it's very exciting because it is mobile, and hopefully we can maybe have it at our 25th anniversary or in some other location that's really visible. Do you know
it's nothing that's been put out yet, advertised yet, but I'll follow up with, let me see if I can't just send him a text and ask about it right now and see if I get a response from him.
Ask him if he has a date and if the sponsors are invited, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is that. So that's really exciting because, as you know, when we put forward our public art program to the city council, the first thing I included, it was signal boxes, a mural, and, you know, public art. And all three of those things are transpiring right now, which is very soon after, you know, it's not even supposed to start till 2022. So I think we're like the art commission is doing a great job on that.
It's nice to be ahead of the curve on that.
It is.
Okay, so there is some more detail, however, with regard to the utility box wraps. And I think you've got a PowerPoint that you'd like to show us, Sally?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna, Nikki, are you gonna share your screen or do you need me to share? Okay, so here we have our finalists. So to preface this, the print shop had to go back out and remeasure the signal boxes. So that took some time. They're very busy, but they got out there, they measured them, and then they send me all this information. And that is all the information that I need to wrap my mind to figure out. But essentially, it's what the artists need to know to fit their art to the boxes. Now, the digital art is going to be easy. The paintings, not so much. So how it's all going to transfer, I don't know. But I thought what we could do this meeting is just decide kind of in a perfect world what wraps we would like where. Should fit. Starting with Springbrook, because I know for the city manager, Springbrook is a really big priority. So Nikki, I thought we could just maybe go through them all kind of slowly and we'll get a look at them. And then we, thank you, stop there. And then we'll go back one by one and think about the location and where it might best fit. And I want you to think about the personality of Springbrook and the personality of Bridgeport Way and 108th, and the personality of Lakewood Drive and Steilacoom Boulevard, and lastly, 84th and South Tacoma Way, which is a little more international, you know. Okay, so we have colorful rocks at Lake. Now, this I know is going to be an easy go. It's digital and she's done these before. So the specs are probably really, really good to go. Okay. And then we have Steel Across with Kelly Loney. We have Mount Rainier. This is not digital, so I don't know how this will translate. And then we have a plethora of Susan Russell Hall's photos. You can kind of scroll through all of those. And again, they're paintings. So I don't know how to translate to the signal boxes. And then these are for consideration. The tribal pattern quilt. which, you know, has an international feel to it for sure, I think.
It does.
And it's colorful, bright. Rosa Cruz's Wildflowers, which I personally think are gorgeous. And again, it's digital, so we know it's going to fit on a box. Katie Dean's Leap of Faith, which is great, but a painting, and so I don't know how it's going to fit on a wrap. And then the Fort Silicon Park Savannah. Another thing I'd like to say, oh, is there one more? Oh, yes. And then Leslie White's The Ferns. I don't know. These aren't digital, I don't think. I think that's it, right, Nikki? Now that said, the city manager loves the signal box wrap, so there will be more. So if we really feel like, hey, those Fort Silicon Park ones are going to be better suited closer to Fort Silicon Park, we can go back to, you know, specific artists that do signal boxes that we know we like and ask for, you know, a specifically commissioned piece. But of what you saw for, you know, starting with Springbrook, did any just really stick out? Now there's two boxes there, a big one and a little one. So for example, if we pick the colorful rocks, we could ask her then to produce another smaller piece that would complement it. And I'd really like to get an artist on this committee because to me that would be really helpful too. I mean, we do have some artists here in different genres, but you know what I mean? I think it'd be helpful. So thoughts? Hi, Lonnie.
Hi, sorry, I'm having technical issues here. Good to see all of you.
So there's our artist. There's our artist,
But
right?
I know,
can-
Lonnie. I mean, yeah.
I can hear
Lonnie
you
might have
and I can
something.
see you. So something's working.
So I have a question. Do we want the artist to be someone that you're talking about, a visual artist, Sally?
Well, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I'm talking about on our board, on our arts commission. I feel like that's kind of a category we don't have as a professional artist, like the type that we're using for Colonial Plaza, and you know, maybe a painter or a digital artist. I don't think we have that, right?
Would you want them to be Lakewood residents?
They don't have to be for. They don't have to be.
I can make a couple inquiries from folks who make their livings doing this.
Thank you.
Sure.
So let's have a dialogue.
You know, I think for me, you know, I'm not sure why, but I think for me the first one, the colorful one, what was it? The colored rocks at the lake.
The colorful rocks. You want to go to that, Nikki? Thank you.
Yeah. You know, at least in my opinion, I think that one would be great at 108th and Bridgeport because that corner is so brown. You know, it'd be great to. I think that this piece would really pop at that corner just because it's so colorful, and the backdrop of it is just so monotone. And then the Still Across one, I think might be best suited at outside the Echelon Apartments on Lakeview Drive and Stillicum Boulevard because it's on the way, kind of on the way to Fort Stillicum Park. You know, because it would be on Stillicum Boulevard. Then maybe the Mount Rainier one would, from Christine Ward, I think that would be a great Springbrook one. And then I guess what was the fourth one? What was the fourth location, Sally? Oh, the
so
International
84th
District.
and South Tacoma Way, kind of more international.
Yeah. And then the Susan.
You want to go to that tribal?
Yeah, I mean, that one, I think that one would be a great one for the international district. So I guess those are my thoughts to start the dialogue. I'm not sure what, it doesn't have to be what everybody else thinks, of course, but
Will you scroll down to that next one with the koi? Is that, or like that would be beautiful going into international district as well.
I'm just
Okay.
having how would that fit on the artist would really have to redesign that to fit it onto the signal
That's
boxes
true.
because the signal boxes are so wide and this is narrow.
I think it's just narrow because of submittal to us, but they can make it wide. This would be perfect for international district.
And that's what I'll flush out. So I think, yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's got
I love the koi
many
and the
things
waterfall.
it's got all the many things that can hit a lot of the countries that are on the international district.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well.
Yeah. Because the tribal look is tribal, and it's not all of the international places are tribal.
Good point.
I agree. I love this one for the international district. I think it's beautiful, colorful. And I think that's probably what I'm drawn to most of all is these signal boxes are so drab, and oftentimes they're located in areas that, as Earl, you were saying, have very sort of monotone brown backdrops. I think you need colors that pop and stand out and bring some beauty. So
I agree with Earl for the 108th and Bridgeport and Lakeview Drive Silicon Boulevard choices that he showed. I like those choices too.
Great, that's fantastic.
Yeah, because the more we get the community to notice what we're doing, the better we're going to be able to take this campaign to the next step.
Yes.
And we'll be able to secure more money with a larger budget from the city to do more signal boxes, and more artists will want to be engaged and involved. So so the more these signal boxes stand out to where the community is going to go, hey, that's really awesome that they actually did that right there.
It's an attraction.
It is an attraction.
Yeah, it has to be attractive.
Great word. Yeah.
Yeah, and it gives a feeling of belonging, and it gives a good feeling to people.
That individual by the name of Cruz, her work with the florals and the like too were also very colorful and bright. But I'm sure that we would, they're beautiful. I'm sure that we would have other locations where we could use those in the future. I love the fact that they're already digitally pulled together, so it would be very easy to be able to use something like that moving forward.
And the tribal thing too is from Rosa Cruz is really nice, but I'm sure there's a space for it. But I prefer the other one with the fish and the pond, and for the international district.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I have a question. Oh, go ahead. So going back up to the Rosa Cruz's second one with the flowers, that one, so wildflowers. So if the Mount Rainier doesn't work because it's a painting, are you in favor of putting the wildflowers at Springbrook?
So my only not the word is not concern I'm looking for. I kind of feel like these things here, these three things without the full flower, it's kind of like negative to me. I don't know what it is. I prefer it to be full. I don't know. Maybe I'm going in too deep about it. It kind of gives me a sense of loss. It's losing the flower is losing its it's flowers and I don't know, what is it supposed to say? What do you guys feel like this is saying?
Well, I'm when I'm looking at this one, I'm not looking at the whole panel because we're not going to see the whole panel. So I'm looking at basically the third panel in from the left-hand side. You know what I mean? So right there, because you're only going to see one side. You're not going to see all four sides together.
There you
I
go.
mean, and nobody's going to walk around the whole signal box.
Okay.
So when I'm seeing that one third panel in the middle right there, I'm it's not grabbing me as much as like with the other one with the Christine Ward one with the Mount Rainier, you're going to see the Mount Rainier in the middle. I mean, that's going, yes, it's a painting, but Mount Rainier can be on that one side as opposed to the trees and the lake and everything, and it will be wrapped around the other side. And that's just my opinion on it. Because we're not going to see, this Mount Rainier isn't going to be put on one single side of the wrap. It's going to be wrapped all the way around. So we have to take that into consideration.
Can we
I would
scroll through
like
them one
to
more time?
have a backup if Mount Rainier doesn't work. Now, we also have all the flower paintings, but again, it'd be nice to have like a plan B for me, so I don't have to go back to this group.
Can you show them again?
Yeah, and I do want to pipe up and say that Mount Rainier is just so beautiful.
I like
and we
these
all love
two.
it so
I
much.
like these two a lot.
So I think it's always worthy to go through the Mount Rainier.
I
At least have one.
too.
I do love the colors in Susan Russell Hall's, especially the fall foliage. I would vote for that for some kind of a backup because it's so beautiful. I love the
Yeah.
orange color.
So we get all four of them, one for each side.
It really depends. We'd start with one. Ideally, one would wrap it, is the thought. She's offered any of her work. Now, at Springbrook, there are 2 boxes, and we didn't really address the 2 boxes. We said it's $700, we'll pay the stipend of $700, but we were only talking about 1 box. Not every site has 2, but some do. Now, we could not wrap the second one. And just start with the first one and then take a look and see, because some are newer than others. So it's just a nice green color, and see if we really need to actually wrap the second box. And then if we do, I think it'd be fair to go back to the artist and offer maybe $350 for a complimentary design.
Yeah, I wouldn't, we can't offer, the full price for a complimentary one.
Right.
I agree with you on that one, Sally.
Okay. So we've got Mount Rainier for Springbrook, and a second is I heard that some of you like the fall tree of Susan Russell Hall's if Mount Rainier didn't work. Is that kind of our plan B? Not that that'll work either. But
Yeah, that's going to be just as challenging.
Is Mount Rainier set?
No, that's what I heard the most people say that they like. Do you have a different view?
Well, it's great when you can see it all together, but if it's going to be cut into 4 panels, you're going to lose a lot of the vibrancy because some of that art is on the dark side, the silhouettes of the trees. So that's something to take into consideration.
Yeah, I agree, Sylvie. I think that, some things just look better when you can see them in their totality. If they're broken up, they might lose their impact.
Right.
And you're right, the colors, especially on the borders, are a little on the darker side, which is to say what Paige was sharing earlier about that fall tree. That's certainly got a lot of pop to it in terms of
Mhm.
color. And maybe we wouldn't be as limited in terms of the fit of the design with the fall tree too.
Well,
Can we
I was
see the
gonna say-
native design again?
oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I was going to say that's part of the appeal of the tribal design, because I always notice the saxophones that are over here up in Tacoma, because there's like a saxophone in every single box of the design. Like just like this tribal design, it's just like you have to see it in a big intersection when you're waiting. That's kind of nice.
I'm having kind of a hard time hearing you, Paige.
Oh, sorry.
And
I
it sounds
know,
like
I'm
someone
in
has
a
a
loud
radio
spot.
on as well.
Yeah, it's the stadium. But if you can hear me, there's a signal box in Tacoma that has saxophones here up in Tacoma by the Cheney Stadium, and the saxophones are very vibrant and they're on every single side of the box. So while you're at the light there, you really notice them. It's like Center Street and by Snake Lake and stuff. That's what I like about the tribal thing, is it's just like, you know, you've got that design on every side, and the yellow will really pop.
Yeah, you don't have any question about it, what it's going to look like when it's designed to be on a signal box like this.
Yeah, all four sides are gonna pop.
I like this design, and then I apologize, I'm coming late into the conversation, but I think the pattern and the color are a really good launch for this, our signal box wraps, because we have very few of them, but this will catch your eye no matter what. Yeah, it will draw the eye of the viewer to realize that, you know, we're putting public art out there.
Well, and it
Who's the
leaves it all
artist?
into interpretation, because you don't necessarily look at it and immediately think, oh, this is tribal, or this is, you just see just vibrant colors, design, things like that, geometric shapes, and
It's just cool. I like it. But, you know, like from a marketing point of view, I mean, we get pragmatic on that sense. You know, we're trying to show that if we're trying to showcase some stuff and get people's attention on, I think this is a really great way of doing that. And I don't have again, I joined in late, so I apologize that the locations, I don't have that set in my head, but.
We're looking at, for this one, we're looking at Springbrook.
Okay.
Who's the artist?
Can you scroll up a little, Nikki?
Can I throw in a little
You also
conservative
did the
comment?
colorful rocks.
Yes,
Yeah, what
Phil.
were you gonna say, Phil?
Well, I was gonna say, and I'm not an artist, so, but when you're gonna go to these boxes and you get something really bright and striking, it's gonna draw immediate attention. And I kind of think somebody's gonna start tagging these things. A wrap that kind of fits the terrain that the box is in, where it's aesthetically appealing, like Mount Rainier, and you don't quite notice it, but you get into some of these things. I don't think the average person is really into art. They just like to say, oh, that's appealing. But if we make it too much in your face with too bright colors, it's going to draw the attention of some people who like to tag things. I mean, maybe I'm being too conservative. Not that I like all the artwork, it's very nice, but I don't know on these boxes, they're going to be unprotected. I test something a little soft at first and see what happens to them, and if they're accepted, and then move up, you know, from there. Just me.
Does anyone have any information with regard to what Phil's concern is relative to these things being tagged? Has there been any discussion about whether or not these things are more likely or less likely to be tagged if they're wrapped?
I don't think so. We have to do, I know it's there and Phil is right, but I'd rather not pay attention to them and give them too much credit for our life, what we have to do in life. And so if it does happen, we'll deal with it, but I think we should do what we need to do for the city as the task that we are tasked with. But I agree. And so it's something that we could be looking out for. But, and Phil's suggestion is, it's good that Phil brought it out to us so that we could think about it along the way. But it shouldn't affect the attention we're trying to draw. I think there's a lot more people that we want to look at it and appreciate it than those negative people who might be there as well.
And so my question also is the material that we're using to wrap, would it be something that we could easily clean off? Because I know the city, they have this spray that cleans off graffiti. Is it something that's going to be that we could easily clean off if we needed to?
That's a good thing to think about.
What I know is I'm using the company that does all the ones for Tacoma. Super experienced, and everyone's using the same material. So, and yeah, there's a good chance they'll get tagged. And you're right, we'll just have to clean it off and hope for the best.
Well, I
So-
think that from the research that we've done, why a lot of cities do these wraps on their signal boxes is because there's less of a chance for them to get tagged, because one of the reasons why an individual wants to tag something is for their signature to stand out. That's one of the purposes of why they initially tag something, is so that their signature will be visible. And when you have these colored boxes and these wraps, their signature, their tag won't be visible. That's why one of the reasons why these cities actually implement a lot of these different signal box wraps is because when they're so vibrant and so colorful, the tag doesn't stand out. And so therefore, the person that's doing the tagging kind of just moves on to the next box where it will stand out on a gray background. Not to say that it won't happen, but I'm saying that's the philosophy that why a lot of cities have implemented a lot of these signal box wraps, is they're a good deterrent in that manner.
Oh,
Have we checked with any cities that have done the wraps and what their feedback was about what
Oh,
happened?
Yeah, like Tacoma does it all over the place, and they've had quite good success with them.
Okay.
I asked Puyallup that question specifically, and they haven't had any tagged, as far as I know.
No,
Well, that's good.
Part of our research.
your point, Lonnie, and also Earl, I think the thing that I've heard with regard to the benefits of wrapping is that those who tag prefer a blank canvas.
Yeah.
That's why things like freeway, sound barrier walls, off-ramp bridges, things like that offer a clean and visible surface for their signature and the like, tend to be the preferable choices for tagging. Not so much a signal box or something else that has already been decorated or wrapped or what have you, because it doesn't, their tag, their signature won't stick out. It won't show up as well.
Yeah.
Is Lakewood offering any kind of space for that? Like some cities have special areas where they have put up boards for graffiti artists to create art.
Yeah, Lakewood Town Center. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks.
So, if I may,
We have had that
no.
discussion on and off, but we're tackling one thing at a time, but that has been on the board.
Yeah.
But if I may, I'm going to repeat what I heard were the choices. One for 108th and Bridgeport was Colorful Rocks by Rosa Cruz. 2 at Lakewood and Steilacoom Boulevard, Lakewood Drive and Steilacoom Boulevard, still across. And 3 Springbrook, the Tribal Art by Rosa Cruz. And 4 84th and South Tacoma Way, Leap of Faith by Katie Dean. And if that at first doesn't work, I could look at we could talk about a backup at that point. Unless one sticks out to you.
Which one is Leap of Faith?
It's the one with the koi.
Koi fish.
Oh, okay.
Does that seem to be the consensus of the group?
Is that right? So we're looking at the tribal art for Springbrook.
I liked either the tribal art or the Mount Rainier. I still like the Mount Rainier one too. But you know what? I'll concede to the group, to whatever the consensus is.
And you know, I can ask her to spec it out for Mount Rainier to spec it out for us, so we can put it somewhere and we can have a better idea than what it looks like. Right now, it's just one big painting, and then it'll be paneled out, and we can really get a better feel for it.
Earl,
Can we
the
see
only
it one
thing
more
I-
time?
Earl, the only thing I have just a little not so good feeling about the Mount Rainier is that it's almost the before colors it's a good thing that the Mount Rainier is over there and it's white. But the surrounding before we get to the Mount Rainier, maybe that's closest reality as it is over there, but kind of wish it was not so dark. Kind of.
Yeah, and again, like I said, I mean, I'll concede to the group. I mean, it's no big deal. But then I mean, you're only going to be seeing on one panel Mount Rainier. Like the sides of it are going to be on another panel. But like I said, I mean, it's not. I'm for whatever the group decides.
Maybe she has another design that's not at sunset and that's, more bright with meadow flowers and something that's brighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Sylvie, that well, I think I said it before, I tend to favor colors that are a little brighter. I think that's why the koi pond really speaks to me. It's so bright and pretty.
Koi
So
pond is very
what I'm
nice.
hearing is that none of Susan Russell Hall's for this round are in consideration or are a plan B.
Mm,
Fine.
I think with the exception of Mount Rainier, Susan's work and the Leap of Faith, they all need the second proposal because they're portrait, they're not landscape format. So how are we doing both panels, and mating them up back to back? So a back and a side is the same. You understand what I'm saying? They're not.
Yeah.
So there are some technical challenges there.
Right.
And Leap of Faith has it too.
So only ask for digital art.
The Mount Rainier one could be very interesting. And I just want to throw this out there. And I'm not familiar with the box, but think of Mount Rainier not necessarily being centered in the big panel, but Mount Rainier could actually be wrapping the corner, depending on how your viewpoint of that box is. And then you could mate it on the flip side, same thing. You could repeat Mount Rainier on a short and a long panel. I hope I'm articulating this correctly with everybody.
Well, it looked Leap of Faith, Mount Rainier, and the bicycle one and the park one, where people are in the park, look like they could be horizontally extended rather easily. So they'd wrap around.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Mount Rainier, you could certainly crop some sky, some pond out of this one, and it could wrap all four sides.
Okay, I'll inquire about that. I know we can use these. If we can get them to fit, we can use them. If not on this round, on another round. So,
So Sally,
well, you guys gotta.
are we at that place then where we're going to get more information about Mount Rainier for Springbrook, and then if they can't articulate that design well on a signal box, then do we have tribal as a backup?
Well, I'm hearing just as many people like tribal, so I don't know that we have consensus that Mount Rainier is the number one choice.
Do we want to do a on that in terms of giving Sally some direction?
Sure.
We want to vote?
We can vote, sure.
Okay, so number one choice for Springbrook. How many are in favor of Mount Rainier?
I'll go with Mount Rainier.
So I'm counting 4.
Four?
Don't
Is that
stress,
what-
Lonnie.
Okay,
And tribal?
who would prefer tribal for the Springbrook neighborhood?
I would
do.
also prefer tribal.
And then tribal it is.
6? Is that 6?
Sylvie's in.
Oh, that was painful.
7.
Love-
Okay, more than half.
Love
We got
them.
7 and 4.
Okay, so does that help, Sally?
That's helpful. And trust me, I'll still kind of hone in on Mount Rainier and see if she can do a digital version that looks like a box for future.
Well, absolutely. It's a beautiful piece. It would be very nice to see if we could move forward with it, perhaps in another location or something, if they could digitally configure it. So,
Okay, that's so helpful. Thank you so much. This will inspire me to get on this tomorrow, you guys. I'll do
Okay.
this.
all right, the next item on the agenda then is the 25th anniversary participation of September the 18th. Do you have anything to share with regard to that, Sally?
Well, Lou was on our food and entertainment committee. But in terms of the Arts Commission, we talked about blowing up the art from the 25th anniversary art contest and somehow displaying it. I don't think we need to drill down on that tonight, but Lua, do you want to share anything about what you're seeing come to fruition for the party?
Yeah, so we have pretty much things are set up. We're just confirming for sure, but we still have to work with the logistics on the site. So I've asked Sally to go with me there sometime maybe this week or early next week to really look at the site and see where we can position certain things. But I'm, as your member of your board, I'm representing us all together, being in charge of the food court and also the entertainment stage. So, and then I'll be reporting to you before the event so I can get some volunteers from you so you could come and when we know more of all that, where we need to position the volunteers, and I can share that with you in our upcoming meetings before the event happens, if that's okay with you.
Thank you so much, Lua. That would be great. Okay.
Thanks for Lua.
Does anyone have anything else to share?
I do. So I did get an update from Grant about the mural. So they are planning an unveiling ceremony. It'll include in-person, virtual. Students will have the opportunity to tell the student or the story of the mural and what it means to the community. But it sounds like the date is TBD. Maintenance department for the district is working on building a frame basically to allow the mural to be able to travel to different places throughout the community for the initial unveiling. So once a date is set, it will be open to everyone. So
Could you ask him if we could display it at the 25th anniversary?
I don't see
September
why
18th.
I don't see why we wouldn't be able to. I'll throw that out to him. You said September.
18th. Well, I just want to be mindful, we're not the only sponsor. And so all those other companies that sponsored will want to also display it. And just so we can get a date in there for September 18th, if we could have that, it would be wonderful. I thought it'd be wonderful to have it and to have the students there talking about it, maybe have a booth there.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll be reaching out to some of you who are on the Performing Arts Committee this month, just to take the temperature of our agendas moving forward. But for right now, I think we're ready to close this meeting. But before we do, I'd like to wish the fathers amongst us a very happy Father's Day this June, and those of you who have special husbands or fathers in your life, your own, well, God bless them all, and happy
When is
Father's
Father's Day? I'm the worst.
Yeah.
When is that?
It's like 2 weeks, less than
Right.
2 weeks. It's the weekend after the next weekend. So the
Okay.
20th.
And all kinds of graduations are happening.
Yes.
Isn't that the truth, Laura? Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. And I'll be in touch, and we'll see you at our next meeting on July the 6th.
Travel
Thank
well,
Thank
Linda.
you.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See your baby belly if I don't get cut off too quick. Can you? Are you going to show
You
it?
want to see my
Your belly.
Oh.